Well, 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 this should surprise absolutely no one, and I have absolute guaranteed faith in the Tories that they're only going to make these situations worse. What are we talking about today? Well, you've seen the title of the video. Well, the European Court of Rights does a review every year of all its member states of what they're like socially and where they are compared to what the European Union would like them to be versus where they actually really are. And of course, it comes to no surprise that we are quite far down on this table. Why? Well, because, again, according to Brexiteers, we should be up here. Because how are we out of step with these European things? Aren't we meant to be with them? No, because as of usual, this was yet another lie. We were always a sovereign country, even in the EU. Um, you know, Ironically, a lot of this crisis that we're in now just shows all these countries doing all different things and different separate things. Is also showing how a unified response is also needed to this crisis, because Europe is now starting up, especially the EU is now starting to respond to this crisis. Again, it will be a slow response because unfortunately the EU is quite slow to respond to sudden things that happen, which is one of the reasons why it needs to change politically. But that's another story for another time. Here we have today. So the UK has multiple social rights failings, finds Council of Europe. The report points to breaches over age of criminal responsibility, migrants' rights, and low pay. The UK's low age of criminal responsibility, minimum pay rates for young teenagers, and the failure to outlaw all forms of corporal punishment breach Council of European standards for social rights according to its latest reports. The body's annual review of each state's adherence to its social charter found that the UK was out of step with its rights in 6 key areas. Criticism in the reports, which mainly covers the years 2014 to 17, including permitting pain-inducing restraint techniques to be used in the young offender institutions, the inadequate level of statutory maternity pay after 6 weeks, and that family members of migrant workers are not granted an independent right to remain after exercising the right to family reunion. The Council of Europe, which has 47 member states and is separate from the European Union, said that the conclusions of its annual review are legally binding in the same way that judgments relating to the European Convention on Human Rights have been applied to other member states. The UK government, however, has traditionally shrugged them off on the grounds that they merely have to be taken into account. Virtually every country is criticised by the committee for violating regulations in some sort of manner. Only Iceland was deemed to be in the state of total conformity. On the criminal age of responsibility, the report said that it should sorry, turning into Porky Pig there. The report said that it should be no more lower than 14 years. In England, Wales, and Northern Ireland, the minimum age for criminal responsibility is 10, and in Scotland, it's 12. The study also noted that the number of children aged between 10 and 17 remanded in custody in England and Wales has fallen by 66% in recent years. However, the report said that sentencing children to periods of detention must be a measure of last resort, for the shortest time possible and subject to regular review. In terms of corporal punishment, the Council of Europe is critical of England, Wales, and Northern Ireland, where smacking, defined as reasonable chastisement, remains legal. It was recently banned, however, in Scotland. On apprenticeship pay for young teenagers aged between 16 and 17, the report said that wage levels have not been fair. The report also expressed concern that migrants and women with insecure immigration status who experience domestic violence and rape remain from seeking protection of support services for fear of having their immigration status removed by the authorities. On child benefits levels, it is commented that the amount of the child child benefit has remained the same since 2009 and has therefore declined in proportion to the median income, in particular in relation to the second and subsequent children. So we are behind once again socially on these things. It's not a surprise. We do have the Tories in charge, and unfortunately, because they're in charge, it's not likely to get any better anytime soon.